All right, here in round 1 is definitely a keep. Nice looking hand. 2 mana with all the 2-drops, possibly operative into freighter too, which would be pretty gorgeous. Oh, Ruinous Gremlin. Well, that might change things. That possibly changes things. Might just need to subtle strike that little fella so I can keep my freighter around. Or I can play another artifact to bait the gremlin too. Not opposed to that. Alright, no 2-drop from our opponent. No second color from our opponent either, which is important to note. So next turn I might just drop the construct, actually. If we don't draw a land especially. Might have actually been smart to just play the construct, because we really want to hit our land, but then again, I don't know. Okay, well, we got the 3rd land, which is cool. So we can play the freighter, but our opponent's just going to blow it up with Gremlin. So maybe we just play the Pillar Bug to buff the operative. Huh. It's kind of interesting. And then what? Offer the trade with the Monitor? I mean, it's still a pretty good trade for us. And everything that dies comes back later. We have a good late game plan. I kind of don't want to attack, though, when I have Subtle Strike. But maybe I need to. Alright, we'll play the Pillar Bug and then attack with the operative. Basically, I'm willing to trade my operative for a Monitor. Alright, opponent takes it. Okay, this is fine too. So now we can go on the freighter plan. Kind of just ate our opponent's turn up too. They didn't get a land. Neither did we, but no matter. Alright, so we play freighter, we get him for 3 again. I mean, granted, we're being a little bit dangerous here by racing, only because it's probably better for our opponent to race, but here there's actually just no reason to not attack because our opponent can just give Weldfast Monitor Menace anyway. I mean, I could have not played the freighter, but that doesn't seem right either. No play, no land. Alright. Well, let's play operative because we don't want our opponent to scry. And then we'll activate freighter. And we'll smash for 8. Alright. So we only get him for 2. Opponent found their 4th land, so maybe they are just mono red. It's not that crazy. Okay, well, ooh, that was good. All right, so we'll play the construct. I want to see what they do with it, but we also need to buff up our dudes. So we'll scry. Don't need the bruiser, I guess. I'd rather draw like a forest. And I think we're actually just going to subtle strike now. So opponent would need quite a bit of gasoline to kill us here. They'd have to have more than 2 built-to smashes. They got to pay the 1 for the menace. And they need basically 3 combat tricks. Sky Sovereign. Well, it's pretty strong. Huh. The opponent can crew it. Is it whenever it attacks? Oh, I see. To get rid of the Death Touch and artifact stuff. Well, huh. Alright. Well, I play the construct here. I mean, I can hunt the weak, but my opponent can activate in response, which doesn't seem great. It's only when it attacks, right? Yeah. Or enters the battlefield, yeah. Oh. Well, I gotta bottom that, unfortunately. So let's see what my opponent does with their card. So we can force our opponent to block here, which is good enough. Kind of ensures we don't die unless hastiness plus something spicy happens. Oh, that's kind of weird. I guess my opponent doesn't want to have to worry about activating it. Yeah, that makes sense. But we got a pretty awesome trade out of that. Like I said, even though I bottomed Nissa, it's basically because I just think finding a forest with a Stomper in hand is more important. Alright, we're going to Prism here. And the reason that I'm Prisming instead of just Hunt the Weaking is because I think my opponent is dead anyway. Unless, no, I think my opponent's dead anyway. So I just wanted to see what card I drew off of Prism. I didn't have to show them I have a Prism, I guess, but... Alright, sure. So opponent is still kicking it freestyle. I mean, we get to play a Stomper now, which is nice. Oh, wow, they were 2-color. That's crazy. Okay. Okay. So play a Stomper here. Okay. All right. So let's hunt the non-lifelinker with 1 power. All right. So opponent is playing black-red aggro, unsurprisingly, and has a pretty solid looking deck. I mean, Sky Sovereign's in there, multiple Welding Sparks, bunch of cheap threats, and they did pretty exceptional considering they didn't even have their black mana the entire game. So what do I want? Creeping Mold? Well, if I was going to bring in something to destroy an artifact, Sky Sovereign would be the reason to do it. So, and maybe they're running like practically no black mana. Honestly, I don't think Creeping Mold's going to be particularly good, but I'm going to bring it in, and we're going to cut the Wildest Dream. I like the card, but we're going to be battling for dear life here, I think, most of the time. So we just have to make sure that we're I don't think we get like a spare turn. I mean, that game was kind of an exception, I think, where we would have a spare turn to pay 1,000,000 mana and get 1,000,000 things back. But, I mean, is there something else I want to cut instead? Maybe. I could cut like a puzzle knot instead and keep the Wildest Dreams and just, like I said, think of it as like a 3 mana, bring something back. Yeah, that's reasonable, actually. Because Puzzle Knot also makes me lose life. Alright, we'll cut a Puzzle Knot. We still have 1,000,000 artifacts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9's pretty good. Okay. Let's try this again. Was Make Obsolete good enough? We saw like a Thriving Grub, a Ruinous Gremlin. Oh, well, here's all the fixing. So I guess we get to go Attune into Prism into Bug. Not bad. At least Pillar Bug's good against our opponent. And I think it's in our best interest to find the planes because in case our opponent for some reason blows up our Prophetic Prism. Alright, so now we'll play the Prism. And then we played the planes because our opponent already knew we had it. So it's not giving up more information than we need to. Pillar Bug into Hunt the Weak could be good enough. Alright. Alright. I guess we can eat the Gremlin. No reason to eat the Broker, I guess. Alright. Yeah. No, Stomper's a great draw. Alright, so I think we want to get some dudes off the board, so let's eat the Gremlin now. Problem with this is kind of puts our opponent in a position where Ruinous Gremlin gets better, but I guess I might as well attack. Well, no, we want our opponent to pay the 3 mana. Alright, so we're keeping the Pillar Bug back solely because we want our opponent to have to pay the Gremlin mana, because they can't even Welding Sparks it, so we want them to use the Gremlin to get rid of the Pillar Bug. I mean, it is possible they would have done it anyway, but it's just, in that position, it just kind of forces them to do it, which I think is better. Alright. So we'll play the Stomper. Alright, this is where Creeping Mold looks really bad. Alright, Eager Construct helps. Bottoming lands. And opponent puts a card on top, which is worrisome. Okay. Alright, well, get to block the Broker, and They probably put the counter on the bug, and then we can creeping mold it. I guess that's not bad. Well, unfortunately we need an actual creature for that, but still. We'll take it. So we'll blow that guy up, play the copter, and pass. Well, at least our opponent's missing. Underhanded design. Well, that's pretty cool, actually. Oops. I guess we actually have to play black mana in order to do that. So I don't really want to blow up the grub, especially considering underhanded design gains us life. And it can kill bigger things. So we're going to take the grub hit here. Alright, Pillar Bug's great. No need to pay black mana. So we'll do the Pillar Bug. Pay our 1. And there's a pretty good chance our opponent's got Welding Spark. Alright, whatever. We're going to activate. A little risky, but yeah, that's alright. We still have enough artifacts to do the underhand design, right? It only takes 2. Yeah. Alright. I mean, yeah, we could have not attacked, but whatever. Okay. So we're going to draw before we use underhanded design on the monitor. Because we get another construct. So very good. Play this, pair 1. Guess I'm going to use the white because we still have the prism. Yeah, Rhino will do. We already have 2 energy too. See what our opponent does. And they put a card on bottom. So let's blow up the monitor. Swing with the bug. All right. Very good. Yeah, I guess we'll block it. I can't see a super compelling reason to keep my guy. I guess because my Rhino can block, but I don't know. It just seems like a fine trade, I guess. So, I mean, our Rhino eventually is going to be a 4/5, I guess, but all right, take 3. Nessa. Well, cool. Beat my bread and butter deck with something a little more unique. So cool. I mean, our deck did have a bunch of bombs in it, right? But that does help. And we still had a low curve, so the deck we're playing now is still kind of my bread and butter. It's just not the color scheme that I always play. But yeah, I mean, opponent had a very solid deck, so happy to beat that. We'll see you in round 2.